Okay. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I'm recording today. Thank goodness. Okay. And the exposure is 280 milliseconds. Gamma is at 1.19. Let me see what changing the gamma does. I'll go back to about 1.19. Contrast was at max. I'm going to go back to max contrast, 200. Black level was at minus 31. That's minus 26. Sharpness, let me increase the sharpness. Sharpness is now at 30. We'll do a negative, positive. Where's the histogram? Histogram now is fairly flat. Let me raise the black a little. Black to 5, lower the white to about 225. Go back to the okay, black. Okay. And I'm zoomed in just slightly. Okay. Let me go back and check out surface. So for surface, I go from 280 milliseconds to 18. There's 18 milliseconds, maybe a little more. Oop. Let me bring down the mount a little. Let me go back to the histo. Maybe I'm cutting off in the histogram. Okay. Okay, back to camera. Image. You should try playing with the pressure on the pressure tunes. Primer is at 12. Let me go up to 13. Primer is at 13. Let me go to secondary. Go to 13. Okay, that brought out more detail on the surface. Okay. Raise the secondary to 13.5. All right. Raise the primary to 13.5. Okay, I'll raise the secondary to 14. Okay. All right. I can change the exposure if this exposure will change anything. Well, it's getting more detail around a sunspot. I guess it's like a sunspot area in the center. Let me see if I can tweak focus a little. Interesting view. I like the negative view, the inverse view, because the filaments appear like clouds floating over the sun's surface. Zoom in on that one filament over here. Atmosphere is not that stable, but at least it's cleared up. Hi, Sam. Sam, where is C in Florida? Where is C? This is from Central. Okay, late. Oh, okay. Well, I'm about 40 miles northeast of New Orleans, where I am right now. I'll be down in Chiefland Astronomy Village in about 3 weeks, mid-April. Let me go back to the 250 and look for the proms. Oh, there's a bunch of proms. I was looking at the ones at the bottom right, bottom left, but yeah, I noticed there's some at the top too. Not as dramatic as the ones at the bottom, but let's see if I can zoom in on the one on the right. That's 200 times zoomed in. You can try zooming in a little more, but it's probably going to fall apart because of the atmosphere. That's 300. Put up the sharpness too high, it gets a little noisy. I back the sharpness down a little bit. So there are some, that was the pressure tuner bumping up pressure. Back it down to 200. That's 200. Hey, Rusty. You got here just in time for the clearing. It was totally clear when I was working on the shutter system, and then it's clouded up just as I started the broadcast. Let's see what else is at the top. There's some small stuff at the top. Let's zoom in on it. $150. That's 200 times zoom. I don't know what happens when you change the gain. I'm at gain minimum right now, so I could go. When you go gain increase when you're in negative, it does the exact opposite of what it would do if you were in positive. Okay, so now let's try increasing gain and see what it does. Does it help with the... Oh, it just overexposes. Nope. I could try increasing the exposure from 250 milliseconds to, say, 300. Get a little bit more detail in that bottom prominence. I'll try zooming in on it a little bit. You push the sharpness too much, it really... I was saying earlier, I was working on the shutter system from about 9:30 to about 11:30, and it was perfectly clear. So I went inside and announced that I'd be broadcasting on NSN Live. When I came back out here, of course, there was this one cloud sitting directly in front of the sun, and it took forever and a day to move. It was like it was dancing in circles around the sun. Yeah, you had some nice targets last night. I'm glad I read my post right before I laid down. Well, actually, I was laying in bed when I read your post. You moved it away from the... I just ran into a few more issues with the shutter system, and I wrote an email to Ben at Exploradome. Hi, Will. I like the prom at the very bottom. It's really wispy. Ah, yeah, I like 3628. That's what do they call it? The ham to cheeseburger or whatever it is. Hamburger. Yeah, that prominence at the very bottom is really thin, and it's showing some nice structure. Hamburger, okay. I knew it was one of my favorite foods. That's okay. Yes, it is. It shows the best. I like the way that the dark lane splits and widens on one end. playing with the black level a little bit. See, I'm at 150, so let me zoom into 200 on that one prom. Yeah. You talking about the one at the bottom? The thin, wispy one? I need more energy. My energy drink's not 8 o'clock. Oh, okay. Back out to 150. There's 150. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the surface. That's 300, so let's go to 20 and go back to a positive. Maybe a little bit longer. Back out to 90. Okay. Yeah, for a while, the sun was pretty bland, but it's showing a little bit of features. There are some filaments. At the very top right, there's a sunspot group moving off the disk. Maybe I can zoom in on it. And there's a filament. It's almost tangent to the solar limb. There was a filament visible a day or so ago, a little bit on the surface. Back out to 150. Let me see if I can tweak focus any. That's about the best I'm going to get focus. Yeah, you look at the top right corner now. You can let me zoom in. So I can go to 250 and see if I can pick that up. You see, almost that filament that's almost like a 1/4 inch off the limb. Go back to the positive and see if it shows up in the positive. The filament doesn't stand out as well in the positive as it does in the negative. Yeah, yeah, a little white cloud makes it pop out. I don't know if changing pressures will help at all. Let me raise the primary up a half a psi. Yeah, the primary is now at 14 psi, and the secondary is, I'm going to raise it to. What is flapping? Nope. Yes, it does. I noticed during your broadcast that being true, especially with the rays. Raising the pressure makes the filaments darker. Raise the secondary. Especially that one on the yeah, the one on the right. You can see some nice granulation in the surface of the sun now. At higher pressures, making it pop out better. And we'll zoom in a little bit more. I'm at what, 200 now? 250. Let's see what that does. I wish some of the other USB cameras had this inverse view. I really like this when doing the sun. I don't know about where Will is. Right now it's in the high 80s here. All of a sudden, all of the clouds that were in the sky have dissipated miraculously. It's almost time to do a meridian flip. I can go for about another 20 minutes before it hits the mouth. And the one at the very bottom almost looks like a little smoke cloud rising. Got a little. Very interesting. Fine, it's too. What I gotta change? Hello, Connie. You were on Rusty's broadcast and you got off just as I got on last night. Yeah, I told Rusty I was laying in bed. I was going to Facebook, and I saw that he said he was broadcasting. So I got out of bed and joined him for about another 50 minutes until he shut down. Still don't have the shutter system finalized. I have a few issues that I ran into today, and I did a few videos and I posted it so that Ben at Exploredome can look at them later. Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, you could see me walking around on the roof of the building working on the shutters. Interesting. I didn't think of that. Yeah, thank God they don't have audio on the all sky camera. Yeah. The all sky camera play shows the golf cart parked right outside right now. Look at the all sky. Yeah, I can see it on. It's parked between the camera and the dome. Well, you know how you measure twice and cut once? I think I've been measuring 10 times and cutting 86 times. It's like one step forward, two steps back. I got the chain drive installed and I went to install the bracket that attaches the chain to the lower shutter and ran into some issues because my dome is one of the first ones that they released back in 2011, and it's I guess it wasn't the way they're made now. Let's put it that way. There were issues. At least Ben at Explorer Dome has been very helpful. He gave me his home telephone number. I called him yesterday morning and I sent him a few emails with some video links, and he's been looking at them. Oh, wait, wrong way. I want to go south. Now move west. Okay. Let me look at the negative now on that. Let's go to 200. That's 200. Okay, I gotta darken that up a little bit. So to darken that, that's actually goes to a longer exposure, right? Yeah, when you're in negative. Let's say 160. I've been recording a video for the last 30 something minutes. I guess I ought to stop it and save it before it crashes. I'm going to finalize this one video now.